They say every small town has one. That one house everyone avoids, the one that holds a story too dark to tell after sunset. On Hollow Creek Road, that house stood tall and silent, its windows like vacant eyes staring out at the world. The neighbors, when they spoke of it at all, would whisper about the attic, about a light that flickered on starless nights, and sometimes a pale, lonely face watching from the highest window. It was a classic ghost story, the kind you tell around a campfire. That's all the Morgan family thought it was when they moved in, a charming old house with a bit of local folklore attached. At first, their new life was idyllic. The creaks and groans of the old house were just part of its character. But then, the nights began to change. It started with footsteps, soft, rhythmic, echoing from directly above their bedroom. It sounded like someone pacing, a restless, steady march from one end of the attic to the other. Their young daughter, Lily, was the first to give the sounds a voice. She told her parents she could hear a girl crying up there, late at night when the house was supposed to be asleep. They brushed it off as a child's overactive imagination, a bad dream. But they couldn't explain why Buster, their golden retriever, would stop dead at the bottom of the attic stairs, his body low, a deep growl rumbling in his chest. The attic door was sealed with a heavy, rusted latch. It looked like it hadn't been opened in decades. One night, a storm raged outside, rattling the windows and shaking the old house to its foundations. Suddenly, Lily burst into her parents' room, her face streaked with tears. "She won't stop crying," Lily sobbed, pointing at the ceiling. "The girl in the attic, and she told me she's lonely." Her mother, Claire, held her tight, whispering reassurances, but a cold dread was creeping up her spine. After settling Lily back in bed, she walked to the hallway to check the attic door, more for her own peace of mind than anything else. Her heart stopped. The heavy, rusted latch was undone. Hanging open, shaking, Claire woke her husband, David. Armed with a heavy flashlight, they slowly, cautiously climbed the narrow, creaking stairs. The moment they pushed the door open, a wave of frigid air washed over them, so cold it felt like stepping into a walk-in freezer. The air was thick with the smell of dust and decay. The flashlight beam cut through the darkness, revealing a space cluttered with forgotten things. Stacks of old boxes, broken furniture draped in white sheets like slumbering ghosts. The room was utterly still, silent except for their own ragged breaths. But then Claire's light fell upon the floor. There, in the thick layer of undisturbed dust, were footprints. Small, bare, child-sized footprints. They led from the center of the room to a dark corner, where a single object sat propped against a wooden trunk, an old porcelain doll. Its face was cracked, its painted smile looking more like a grimace in the shifting light. A faded blue ribbon was tied around its tiny wrist, and embroidered on it was a single name: Anna. As Claire reached out, her fingers just inches from the doll, a whisper slithered through the air, so close and cold it felt like it was right beside her ear. "Don't touch her!" Claire screamed, stumbling backward. In that same instant, the attic door slammed shut behind them with a deafening boom, plunging them into near-total darkness. David lunged for the handle, yanking and pulling, but it was stuck fast, as if barred from the other side. Panic set in. Then they heard it. The crying Lily had described. Soft, trembling sobs coming from the shadows just beyond their flashlight's reach. A girl's voice, fragile and full of sorrow, whispered, "Why did you lock me in?" The flashlight beam trembled in David's hand, finally catching a glimpse of her. A small, pale girl in a tattered, old-fashioned dress stood in the corner. Her eyes were dark, hollow voids in her translucent face. Her voice trembled as she spoke again, a heartbreaking plea. "I just wanted to play." And then, the flashlight flickered once, twice, and died, leaving them in absolute, suffocating blackness. They pounded on the door, shouting until their voices were raw, their fists bruised. Finally, with a splintering crack, the wood gave way, and they tumbled out into the hallway, slamming the heavy door shut behind them. When they dared to look back, the ancient latch was securely fastened as if it had never been opened at all. The next morning, the storm had passed. but the horror remained. Claire went to check on Lily and froze in the doorway. Sitting on Lily's pillow right next to her sleeping daughter's head was the porcelain doll from the attic. "Lily, where did you get this?" she demanded, her voice shaking. Lily woke up and smiled, a bright, innocent smile that sent a chill through Claire's entire body. "Anna gave it to me," she said simply. "She says she used to live here. She's my new friend." After that day, the house turned against them. The gentle pacing in the attic was replaced by manic running, the soft sobs often giving way to high-pitched childish laughter that echoed through the vents. Toys would rearrange themselves in Lily's room. Doors would open and close on their own. And Lily began to change. She spent hours in her room staring at the ceiling, having long, one-sided conversations with her invisible friend Anna. Claire and David were terrified, trapped in a nightmare they couldn't wake from. They started packing, desperate to escape. One night, just days before they planned to leave, Claire woke up shivering. A bitter wind was blowing through the bedroom. Lily's window was wide open, the curtains whipping in the breeze. And in the hallway, the attic door stood ajar once more, a dark, gaping mouth. Claire ran to Lily's room, her heart pounding. Lily was standing on her bed, her small frame silhouetted against the open window, staring up at the ceiling with a serene, almost blissful expression. "Anna says I can stay with her forever," Lily whispered, her voice sounding distant, strange. "We can play together in the attic and I'll never be lonely again." And then, in the blink of an eye, she was gone. Claire and David frantically searched the house, their screams echoing in the empty rooms. The attic was empty. Completely empty except for the doll, Anna, sitting in the center of the floor, its cracked smile seeming wider now. And from the walls, from the very air around them, they heard it. The faint, echoing sound of two little girls laughing. The police searched for weeks, but they never found any trace of Lily Morgan. Devastated, the Morgans left Hollow Creek Road, leaving everything behind, fleeing the house and the memories it held. The old house stands abandoned once again, its windows dark and watchful. But the story didn't end. The locals say that now, if you're brave enough to look, you can sometimes see two figures in the attic window. Two small girls standing side by side, watching the world go by. And if you listen on a perfectly still and quiet night, you might just hear a whisper carried on the wind, a secret shared between the rafters. She never left the attic. It's a chilling reminder that some spirits don't just haunt a place. They wait. They wait for someone new to play with. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe for more tales from the shadows.